Fashion is really meant to be worn and enjoyed in that way, rather than just stuck in a cupboard.
I think fashion is a way of showing a part of yourself, your personality, in the same way that people show off their homes to show off what they're like. I guess their clothing is kind of an extension of that.
There are a lot of buyers, a lot of stores, but there's also a lot of designers. So they all have to compete. And as long as they've got something different to offer and the price is good, then from there, hopefully it works, in their favor, because they'll only really survive if they sell.
In just a piece of garment, you can express your inner self. It could be just £5 piece that you found, or it could be £500 something like a really luxury brand. Doesn't matter the value as long as the person who owns it, I think they like it and they think that's the best piece. I think that is what I want them to look into my collection as well. Contemporary for me is not means you are a luxury brand. It is in maybe price-wise you can consider it as a luxury brand, but it's more the way that you want to put it on and the way that you think you want to have this piece. And I think that's the reason people buy contemporary designers. They are not established brand, but you buy them because maybe a part of them you want to support the concept, a part of it you agree what they're doing.
I'll do the bag first, and then you can touch yourself.
For a designer, you create one collection, maximum 30 looks. For a bigger designer, for a small designer, probably 15 looks or 16. And there's always something that I didn't feel I have done enough, and that might just continue into the next season. Spring-summer collection was my first collection, which was more about futurism. It was 15 looks. I had a lot of trousers and a short top, see-through fabric. It was a lot of silky surface and a lot of light color and pale color, and quite a big contrast between heavy stone glass with chiffon. So I feel like that is something that I want to do, and I feel that I didn't have satisfied with enough coat. And I feel like we'll need to do something heavy. I feel like wool, I feel like a big jacket. So I think that's where I start for autumn-winter's collection. Originally, I'm from Taiwan. I studied fine art in Taiwan. I major in oil painting and sculpture, which is quite traditional part. And I started quite young when I was 17 or 16. So that is how I built out the background. And for me, I think after the whole 7-8 years built up from fine art, history, everything, technique, material, I think fashion for me is not exactly a different field to continue developing the concept. When I was studying at uni, it's called fine art, but fine art here is slightly different. You're including the film, mixed media, but when I was doing fine art, that is like more material. So you learn glasses, you learn ceramic, you learn knitting, dyeing, and oil painting, sculpture. So all this because that's the material that supports you to express the message. So for me, I think to put that into fashion, for me, that is more just a part of design. I came to London specifically for studying in St. Martin. I think that for me is more space to let me continue the sculpture into fashion as a part of design. They provide really good space and the resource for you to just develop what you want to do, and I think they allow it to do. This is the best part.
You might want to try putting like loops or something as well. We nurture them by giving them lots of hard work to do, challenge them, try to stretch them, teach them a lot of the basic skills which they need to know. At Central St. Martin's, we get a fantastic selection of people applying. So really, it's still very difficult because, you know, out of maybe 50 places, we have to see a couple of thousand portfolios. So it's not easy, and there's always usually more good ones than we can take. It's the goal of a lot of young students to be a student there. So we get a good intake, but then they have to work very hard when they're there. Jamie really came to my notice through her drawing, and she's very contemporary, and she did bring an element of, in a way, her fine art approach, because she included in her final degree collection, in the materials, she mixed ceramics with, cloth. And she did that in a very creative way. So I thought that was very clever.
The Designer for Tomorrow competition, it was really fun. There's a lot of talented designers, and especially in UK or in this nowadays, I think they pick me, and I think it's just really appreciated, and they just give me a great platform, was great press, was great feedback. I think for young designer, you don't really aiming that much, say I want to win or I want my own catwalk. You just really enjoy the moment, and also it was really fun to hang out with Stella McCartney as well. She is really amazing. Everyone knows that she is and sustainability as the main concept, and that is more kind of the idea what inspired me and what I got from her. I think for me, I don't guarantee that I can do as much as she did, but I try to apply my own idea in terms of sustainability. In my autumn-winter collection, we did have leather, and the slowness is a byproduct. So you use the leather, and they use the meat. I think that for me, in a way, is sustainable as well because the product lasts longer. I didn't expect that I will start my own label until the Designer for Tomorrow competition, and I didn't thought I will continue after the competition as well. But afterwards, there is more magazines coming, and there is sales coming after, and there is more press explosion, and then people borrowing clothes, and then Lady Gaga borrowing clothes. So I think, yeah, why not just continue doing it? I already got so much support luckily from all the people, and I think that is the best chance for me to continue not as a exactly label, just as a work that I want to do.
Hello and welcome to London Fashion Week Autumn Winter 2014. My name is Brendan Courtney and I shall be your host. No, your guide, actually no, your conduit for all things new and hot.
London Fashion Week exceeds the other Fashion Weeks simply because we've got the hot new names.
And now we're with the main events organizer, effectively. So just for somebody from space who's never been to Fashion Week, when does all the work start and how much effort goes into this whole event?
Well, the work's non-stop. We're already thinking about what we're doing in a year's time. So by the time we get to London Fashion Week, it's really just about delivery. But you can imagine it's looking at the content of the designers, how we're presenting the schedule, what the space looks like, what the video content's going to look like, how we're going to attract international audiences to be in London, to see the designers, to be buying their clothes. And this is where it all pays off. So the months and months of hard work and planning all come together here at London Fashion Week.
And you've come on in leaps and bounds, haven't you? It's just grown and grown and grown and gone from strength to strength.
Probably like most in the fashion industry, it's all about what you can do best, who can be first to do it, how you can deliver it. With planning for going forward for next year, already we're thinking about what we can do better, what we can improve, what the experience will be like, as well as, of course, working throughout the year with the designers to make sure that their businesses are growing, are sustainable, that they know everything about production, marketing, branding, delivery, sales. The British fashion industry is worth 26 billion to our economy, and that's gone up from 21 billion in 2009. So even through a period of economic crises, we've continued to go from strength to strength, and we're seeing growth, which is absolutely incredible. And I think when you put it in those terms, people realise that it's not just about a pretty dress, it's actually about building businesses, building jobs, and contributing to a country's economy. Colleges in London are by far the best globally. They are art colleges, they teach design as an art, and you can see that in the end result on the catwalk. The challenge that we've been working with over the past few years is how do you take that creativity and convert it into commerce? And we're seeing really great results. You see the likes of Christopher Kane, J.W. Anderson, Nicholas Kirkwood, Erdem. These are really strong creative businesses that are building brands of the future. And the more brands we can build, the stronger the British fashion industry is going to be.
I think a lot of people see fashion as a kind of glamorous kind of profession where people just sort of waft about a bit and, you know, but it's probably the most unglamorous profession there is. It's a very expensive kind of medium to be in because of the cost of everything, you know, putting on shows and having enough money to fund orders, and you know, it's always quite an expensive venture. I think it's really about business, mainly because there's lots of compromises. You have to think about who you're selling it to, who is it for. You're limited to, you know, the price, the market. There's a lot of things that come into it that you can't just freely design what you like and hope that it's going to work.
I think the different part from fashion and art is fashion you do have to follow and compromise a bit because you have deadline. You have to present in the fashion week. But in the painting, for me, it's more like I need to say something or I need to create something, and you have that need, so you go do it. It's not like today, Tuesday, I need to do a painting. So it's personal, so it doesn't go with a certain rule, a certain schedule for me.
I'm a great fan of Jamie's work. She's very, very talented, very good with her cutting, so she never kind of drowns you in it, which I think is great. The amount of detail that it goes into making the pieces as well. It's not just kind of thrown on. It's, you know, the way it hangs on the body is great, and it's got the perfect balance on the upper body and the lower body. It's very modern, and I think it's the kind of thing that will work very well off the runway on, you know, onto real bodies.
For me, it's like if you like this item, you think is the most thing you can present yourself, and that is the best value. I think in fashion you have a piece of fabric and there's nothing different from painting. When I feel like I have to draw something, then I draw. If I feel like I need to paint something, then I do. If I feel like I need to sew something, I do it. The material-wise, when you feel like I want to create something, it could be a clothes, it could be a painting, it could be a sculpture. So for me, just different method, different material, and that is all the same idea.
If you think about what art is, it's almost like sometimes they've flipped it over sometimes, isn't it? I mean, you see things that are meant to be art and you realise that it's a wardrobe, or you see someone, literally a wardrobe and it's art. Obviously not all art is fashion, and obviously not all fashion is art. But gosh, I mean, I know that definitely, I mean, even Jamie's collection, there are pieces in there that you probably would want to frame and never wear because in danger of damaging it.
I think there are some designers who are artists, but the actual fashion industry is really about business. Jamie's got a brilliant kind of combination of appreciation for art, but also in design, and the two of them, I think, live very happily together. I definitely think there's a modernity of it, and the individual, I suppose it's just the individuality and her approach to design that sets her apart, and it has a lovely feel. And I think it's also quite complementary to women, being an artist. I think she has a strong feeling for the female form and appreciation in that way. And also in terms of design, you know, she has a great sense of proportion and line.
The concept of expressing yourself is applying in art and applying in clothes as well. Because you create a piece in fine art, you do a painting, and you think that painting is your languages, that's the only thing speaks for you. And then you do a garment, you do a collection. Every material, stitch, trimming that you choose, that's the languages that you want to deliver the message. So I think the most important thing for designer is that you are trying to do what you want to do and convince people of the idea that you are doing as well. I won't say I'm a fashion designer, I'm just a designer and a painter.
Rachel, you are Poland.
My parents, they are really supportive of what I wanted to do. They like me to do painting or whatever that I'm good in. They give me a really great space and freedom to do creative stuff, and even fashion design, even I decided to come here. I think that's the really lucky thing for me too.
I think Jamie's going to, I mean, I hope that she will do very well. I think she shows early signs of success. I think she's already shown success, and it's a great joy for me when I see them having success, whether it's immediate after graduation or a little later on, because I know they all live for it. And Jamie's one of those students. She has a real passion for it. She's proven that she can work hard. She has the talent. She really just needs to have the support of the buyers. But because she already has her individual mark, that's helpful. Because good design is forever. If it's good, it's always good.
You can tell Jamie's got a good head on her, not just artistically. I'm very, very kind of proud of her. She's done so well. I love her collection. I want the whole collection and the shoes.
It's good to have all this support, really appreciate it. We will try to create more amazing collection. That's what we're trying to do. And it's much more difficult than the established label. But for contemporary designer, the most thing for us is the concept of the collection. That is what we will continue doing. And I think for me, that's what I'm trying to keep it on as well.